feels like whenever the new year hits, the drugstore just bam releases a ton of new items. I picked up a bunch of products, I've been testing them out, and finally in today's video I have reviews of all the new drugstore launches that I've been trying for you guys. And of course, you know that includes demos, real up and close on my face. First launch I want to talk about. This is one I immediately picked up and you guys were really interested in. It's the L'Oreal Lumi Le Glace Highlighter Stick. Now, I have mine in the shade Glassy Pearl, and it does seem like some of the shades are more of your traditional highlighter stick, and some of them are more of this balmy, translucent, kind of dewy highlight. This one definitely leans on the more translucent side. A lot of comparisons between this and the Chanel Essential Balm, as well as the Merit highlights. So I just wanted to see for myself what the formula was like. Now, something that I noticed quite immediately, for better or for worse, with this product is that it melts quite easily. You can even kind of tell just from me screwing the product up. This actually fell straight out of the component the minute that I got it. And it's winter. Actually, like right now it's maybe 20 degrees outside. There's just no reason this needs to be melting so much. Even now it's quite melty, and it is a bit sticky. That's something that I was personally wondering about with the texture of this formula, so you can tell that this is a more sticky, balmy product. Now, I have been trying these kinds of highlights for years on my channel. You can go back, check out some of my videos. One of the oldest ones is the Becca Glow Glaze Stick, which I used to really like. There's no way around it. This shade, at least, is sticky, and it's going, you know, your hair is going to want to stick to it. I will say though that it doesn't necessarily feel like a gloss on the skin, and it does, you know, eventually settle onto the skin. It doesn't look like you just put a bunch of Aquaphor or lip gloss on your cheeks. I am wearing it right now. The pigment is very subtle, but I think as a whole, especially when we get into the foundation that I've been trying, it was very welcomed, especially for this look. It does really add this overall look of hydrated, plump skin. It is not my favorite of these kinds of highlights. I would honestly lead you towards Merit or even my personal favorite, which is a K-beauty brand, which are the Hints highlights. I love the shade Lighting. Very beautiful, and for me, it just sits a little bit closer on the skin. It's not quite as sticky, but I will say that if you struggle with very dry skin and you're looking for a highlight to really add that glossy luminosity, this does fit the bill. And I think that for a drugstore product, it does fit the bill of what it says it's going to do. I do personally, though, prefer a little bit more cosmetic elegance. Probably a good caveat if you guys are new to my channel is that I don't tend to recommend drugstore products just because they're more affordable. For me, I just recommend good formulas no matter what the price point is. Like, would I love for some of my favorite products to not be $50 and them to be $5? Yes. But I'm not going to recommend the $5 product just because it's good for the price. So again, I'm going to be reaching more for my Hints highlight. This is not bad. It's just not my favorite. However, a newer launch that e.l.f. has released, the bronzer and contour, the camo liquid blushes that e.l.f. released, I guess, I want to say like a year ago. These are beautiful. They have a lot of pigment, but the way the pigment actually spreads on the skin is really even, beautifully long lasting, smoothing, and there are just so many different colors to choose from. So I have really sung the praises of the e.l.f. Camo liquid blushes. Still, I think one of the absolute best liquid blushes on the market. So when the Camo liquid bronzer contour released, I was like, okay, let's go. In fact, I think it's kind of crazy that e.l.f. came out with their liquid bronzer before Rare Beauty was even able to, which, I mean, we all know e.l.f. took quite a bit of inspiration from Rare Beauty, so I think it's just kind of crazy that the dupes are coming even before the brand, the OG brand, has a chance to even put out their product. Just kind of wild. Nevertheless, I picked up mine in the shade Light 3, I believe. There were 2 lighter shades. I do wish that I had chosen one of the lighter shades, but I was afraid they were going to be a little bit too gray. I wanted to use this more as a bronzer rather than a contour, but I do think that this is just a little bit too warm for me and slightly too dark just for like my normal complexion. I mean, you'll see with the foundation match is not great either, but it does work with the foundation. So it is what's on my face right now. Anyway, we got to talk about the formula. Remember all the beautiful things I said about the liquid blush? Just apply them to the liquid bronzer. Great pigmentation, blends beautifully onto the skin. It has that spreadability, it has that smooth effect. It's just really good formulation and just really good makeup. You know, these kinds of formulas are the reason I will not go ahead and just recommend something to you guys because it's affordable, because we can expect great things from the drugstore. We are at that point in the industry where you can expect good quality items at an affordable price. And I gotta tell you, e.l.f. consistently does really well. I have a good shade range on this one. The formula is beautiful. I would say if you are looking for a liquid bronzer at the drugstore, this is absolutely where I would lead you to. And I will say I am planning it's either going to be a top product in every category drugstore version, or it's going to be an affordable makeup starter kit. I haven't decided between the two. Let me know what you would prefer. I do think it's nice to do like a starter kit because I'm able to include more options for different people. But I don't know, a lot of you guys like to see like the best of the best, or what I think is the best of the best. So I'm kind of torn, but let me know your thoughts down below. Anyway, you guys, this is a highlight of the video. Absolutely phenomenal. I do want to talk about the Byoma Hydrating Milky Toner in a second, because this definitely goes with kind of the complexion products that we've been talking about, but I did want to talk about first the Plump Ambition lip oil from L'Oreal that has released. I think it's really interesting when affordable brands start to come out with these dupe or, you know, alternative products to high-end stuff. So people are saying these are like the Dior lip oils or the glosses. This is way closer to the glosses just because of, you know, the tingle, the minty tingle that they have. So I think that's what they were going with these, even though they call them lip oils. I mean, you guys, kind of try to ignore whether it's a lip oil or a lip gloss and really focus on how they describe the texture, because brands will put anything on a product to sell it. This is not this is not a lip oil. This smells identical to the Dior lip glosses and the lip oils. It's that sweet mint that personally for me, I love. I love the sweet classic Dior smell, and they nailed it. I mean, these are the Plump Ambition lip oils, and I will tell you right now, they do give you such a luxurious, balmy feel on the lips. It does truly, in my opinion, feel like a liquid lip balm. It has this gorgeous plushness, and it just feels really comforting on the lips. It is very similar to the liquid lip balms that L'Oreal had already released. I would say that these are even thicker. The applicator is also a nice kind of more precise doe foot applicator. Just love the plushness of this. You know, I think that this formula is something between like the Hourglass glossy balms and the Rare Beauty liquid lip balms. Not their lip oils, the liquid lip balms. It's something in between those two. There's actually quite a bit of pigment to this, and I think that if I had gotten one of the less pigmented, like the clear one, or I feel like there's a light pink one. If I had gotten that, I feel like I would have been even more excited. This red one though, what is this one? This is the shade Cherry 390. Not crazy about this shade. It is way more of a cool red, like a more true leaning cool red. And I thought it was going to be more like cherry, kind of cherry strawberry red. And yeah, it's just it's not my favorite color. But I am very, very excited to pick up one of the other shades because this is a very luxurious formula. I think they killed it. I love the glide, the plushness. It just gives you that luxury beauty experience at a more affordable price. And that's what I'm looking for to be able to recommend to you guys. So very, very good product from L'Oreal. I was excited about this one, especially because I think there are better highlights than the Lumi that we talked about. So I was really excited when this launch ended up being, really great. So let's talk about the combo of like the foundation combo that I have on my skin today. I went in and I prepped my skin with the Byoma Hydrating Milky Toner. This is very good. I understand why a lot of people really enjoy it. This has panthenol as well as meadow seed foam oil. Is that it? Meadow foam seed oil. Two ingredients I'm almost positive are also in the Laneige cream skin. I would say immediately if you're kind of bouncing between going with the Laneige or going with the Byoma, I would say try out the Byoma first because this is very similar to it. I think if you're someone with more of a combination skin type and you're looking to incorporate a milky toner into your skincare routine or to prep your skin before a makeup with something like this, which if you're new to my channel, this is like one of my favorite things ever to do. I don't think this one is half bad. However, for my skin type, I still prefer the Haru Haru Barrier Essence. I'll leave a link down below to that one. That one is very plush, really bouncy, just leaves a little bit more glow and there's more general moisture and hydration to it. This does feel more like a hydrating product rather than a moisturizing product. So when you think of like hydrating, think of like water, glycerin. When you're thinking of moisturizing, think of like different oils, occlusive products. This to me leans lightweight, so I would tend to recommend this to someone with more combo or oily skin, but if you're someone that has been interested in using milky toners to prep the skin, I think that this one is really nice, and I would rather guide you towards something like this than the Laneige. Now, for my personal skin needs, again, I'm more of a Haru Haru Wonder lady. But I can see why there are a lot of people that love that, especially for younger skin, potentially more acne-prone skin. That is quite light. I mean, it has a nice bounce, but it's more on the light side, so it's not going to add too much moisture all at once, which I think is kind of nice. Sometimes I think certain skin types need that. So I prepped my skin with this, and I actually mixed a little bit of this into the L'Oreal Lumi Le Glow Tint, which is the product that I have on my face today. This is the shade 120 Neutral. Not neutral, quite yellow, I would say. And it's not my shade. But listen, they describe this as a lightweight fluid tint that glows like an illuminator and covers like a foundation. All of those things that they just mentioned is true. Seamlessly evens the skin tone and blurs imperfections for a breathable second skin finish. This is where we start to get into I cannot agree territory. I wish I had read more into the product before I decided to even test it. I mean, listen, I'm always happy to test products for you guys, but I do like to try and test the ones that I think are actually going to suit me. And this is just, I should have known this is not for me. This is a tinted moisturizer with a glow lotion already mixed in, basically. It does actually have decent coverage. It has more of a medium coverage, but dries down so quickly on the skin, and it feels like you don't even have time to blend it, so you're left with a bit of a dried down, pearly glow lotion, like liquid illuminator kind of look with your foundation like mixed in. It's not my favorite. It does not do well on texture. It's not awful, but it's just not anything I would ever reach for. I mean, if there's one thing that you guys have realized about me by now is that for foundation, like that is the base. That is your base. Everything else kind of hinges, the makeup look hinges on the skin. That's why I focus so much on my channel on foundation and concealer, I would never want to recommend this to anyone with fine lines or texture, which, let's be honest, I think that's about 90% of us. I can see some people in like their teenage years enjoying this, and maybe that's who it's for at the end of the day. But I think if you're over the age of 20, this is not going to look amazing. I will say that because it sets down, it does have that longevity, but at what cost? You know, if it does have longevity, it's going to remain the same, and yet the finish to begin with isn't great because it does have that kind of pearly effect. Shall we talk about the eyes? Because I'm wearing two different drugstore eye products that I've been testing on today. I've been testing the L'Oreal Paradise Big Deal Mascara, but I've also been testing this palette from e.l.f., which I found out about this new launch in store, which I think is bizarre. Usually I am finding out these things via internet and then going in store and finding them. But I found out about this from like when I walked into Ulta. So maybe let's just go ahead and start with this. This is the Keep It Ethereal palette from e.l.f. Now, I think we all know that this is reminiscent of the Ethereal Eyes palette from Makeup by Mario. I think that's what they were trying to get at with this. e.l.f. just released not too long ago, maybe 6 months ago, the Finest Fleck glitter shadows, and I did a whole review on this, compared them to the Moondust shadows, so I will leave that video linked down below if you're interested in that. But what I have found overall is that e.l.f. is stepping it up as far as their eyeshadow formula, and I think that this is a real testament to that. Now, I am wearing it on my eyes today, and every time I have worn it on my eyes, I've found that they last quite well. Like, definitely luxury as far as the pigmentation and how long it's lasting on the eyes. And I think that is, and I think the pigmentation piece, like these are definitely have decent pigmentation. I think that's why they're lasting longer. But the formula of the mattes at least have great pigment. I will say, this matte brown, the deepest shade, was a bummer for me. I find that I can't really get like a winged liner kind of look with it, which is kind of my go-to. You'll see in the demo, I tend to use a liner and then set the liner with the powder rather than the opposite. But all of the other mattes I love. They give me great pigment. They are more powdery, so I just have to tap off the excess, but I don't mind that. Blend beautifully, and you know what? I think that they look better on the eyes than the Makeup by Mario shadows. You know, I gotta tell you, those shadows are some of the most divisive shadows on the market. Like, you either really like them or don't, and I don't know if that makes for the best eyeshadow formula. I'm just being honest here, guys. I'm not truly a fan. I think something happens on the eyes that makes my eyes look dry. I would rather not wear makeup than put on a powder product that then makes my face look crepey. These textures do not do that. And because of the pigment, you can also use less of them, so you're actually in a really, really good spot to get a really pretty eye look that isn't going to dry out and look weird. I will say the glitters are not the quality of like my favorite Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. These are thicker, and they don't have the smoothness that something like Natasha Denona would have, but they do have like a grip to them that I think some of you will also really enjoy. You know, when a product has more grip, it's able to grip better to the eyes and not have as much fallout. So even though I have more wet eyeshadows in my collection, there's just something about this palette that I keep coming back to it. So I think if you're looking for the best eyeshadow palette on the market with wet glitters and good mattes, like this is not, I think, the best. This, however, is one that I'm reaching for a lot consistently, and I just think is really pretty and at a good price point. So, but I think that if I would rather use this palette than the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes Palette. I feel like that kind of says something. For a good all-in-one though, I'm really liking it. Now let's talk about the Paradise Big Deal mascara from L'Oreal. So this is a rubberized wand. I don't know if it's just mine, but mine came out a little tilted. I don't know if it just, you know, when the machine stuck the brush into here, it kind of just got a little wonky or what. But I will say, as I continue to use this mascara, I actually quite like it. I was a fan of the Paradise, like the L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara when it first released. I kind of just stopped using it. I mean, I definitely preferred it to the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. That one, for me, just always looked a bit chunky. But I think that this one is a more natural version of that mascara. Does lead to a little bit of a wispier lash. A rubberized wand, I think, does tend to do that. And I have noticed that it holds a decent curl. I wish it was a little bit more lifting. Like, I like a lot of lift, and I wish it was just a touch more curling, a touch more lifting, but I'm definitely going to use it up. And I am going to try it with some other mascaras. I really like that it lasts on the eyes. I will say though that this is one of those mascaras that you need to take off first before using like an oil cleanser or a cleansing balm. It takes off the best with just water. And when I don't remember that, I'll like go in with my cleansing oil. I'll go ahead and with my face wash, and especially if I'm in the shower doing all of this, I'll come back out and look in the in the mirror and I'm like, why do I still have mascara all over my face? This kind of repels oil. As far as like taking the product off, you really need to go in with water. I would say definitely make sure to do that. But yeah, you know, I don't know if it's a repurchase, but it's could be worth a try. Oh God, we have to talk about maybe one of the worst products I've tried in recent memory. The NYX Buttermilk Glaze. You guys, I don't even know if I have application footage of this. If I don't, please don't get too mad at me. There's just, it would take a lot for me to want to put this back on my skin. This is incredibly, incredibly dewy, zero coverage, and yet somehow it's one of those things. It gives you very, very little coverage and somehow makes the skin look more textured, more kind of greasy. You know, I love a glow. I have dry skin. I love moisture in a foundation, but brands release these very thin products with a very kind of greasy shine. It stumps me. Almost feels like this should be some sort of mix-in product. The fragrance is insane. I mean, there's nothing that makes me want to put this is like, you know a lip product, like name any lip product you have that has a scent. It has that amount of scent to it. Just I don't know why brands keep doing that. You don't need all of this scent in products that are going to be all over your face. Will not do anything for your pores, for fine lines. It's just a please stay away kind of product. It is a bummer because I love the NYX Butter Melt bronzers. I think those are beautiful. I'm sure you guys will be hearing more about those in those videos I was talking about before, but stay far away from this one. It's very weird. And those were all of the new drugstore releases that I tried out for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And again, please leave me a comment down below with any other new drugstore releases you want to see. Maybe if you'd rather see the top drugstore product in every category video, or if you'd prefer to maybe see the affordable makeup starter kit. But again, if you guys appreciated all the demos, the in-depth reviews, definitely make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next one.